Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sport on Global Television. I am Samuel Odi. Many thanks for joining on to this edition of the program. Today we'll be having so much conversations around transfers, qualification, basketball tournaments that will continue. That's talking about the BAL competition, and also we would be witnessing a matchup, international friendly, between the Super Falcons and also the Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon. Finally, the game was supposed to start on Friday, which was supposed to be a two-legged friendly. It was supposed to have a first game as of Friday, which was postponed to Monday, and then which was postponed to Sunday because of the late arrival of the Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon, and then it didn't work out that we got shifted to Monday, and then CAF didn't give approval, and today is a set date to have that exciting feature that would, play out between the Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon and the Super Falcons, and this will be happening at the MKO Abiola Stadium later today. On the track field, we've seen that Favour Ofili has, stepped out from the Racers Grand Prix that is set to kickstart on Saturday. This is meant to happen in Jamaica, but she, stepped out of it based on personal reasons. And also we have highlights of basketball games that were played over the weekend, Sunday, early hours of Monday morning, and we've seen the Rivers Hoopers have made their way to Pretoria, South Africa, as they'll be engaging other counterparts in the BAL competitions, which is going to be kickstarting still later this month. So we'll be bringing you an update on all of those, and also we'll have conversations around transfers, where we've seen Bruno Fernandes has made the mark of requesting for 100 million euros from Al Hilal. All of this, we'll be having all of these conversations and more on today's edition of Talk Sports. We'll be going on a quick break, and when we return back, we'll get right into the conversations of the day. Stay with us. Okay, let's dive right into the conversation. If you're just joining, this is Talk Sport and you didn't miss a thing. Now let's get right into the conversation of the day. And we start from the home front as always, but this time around we're talking athleticism, track and field, and we'll get into the world of football. But now let's start from this front, where Favour Ofili out of Racers Grand Prix. The Nigerian sprint sensation Favour Ofili has pulled out of the 2025 Racers Grand Prix, set to take place on Saturday, June the 7th at the National Stadium in Kingston, Jamaica. Her absence from the high-profile event was confirmed by Jamaican track and field analyst Kamel Ford, who revealed that Brenheimer sprinter Antonio Sketch and American Deja Stevens have been drafted into the women's 200 meters lineup to replace the Nigerian. Favour Ofili had been among the headlining athletes listed for the meets, which is organized by Racers Track Club founder, legendary coach Galen Millers. Her withdrawal is a setback for fans anticipating a track contest with double world champions Shericka Jackson, who remains the Munich name in the event. The 22-year-old Nigerian sprinter has been in an impressive form this season, and she takes early lead, and also earlier in May she made history at Adidas Atlanta City Games by setting a new world record in the women's 150 meters, clocking in 15.85 seconds to break the previous mark of 16.23 seconds held by Olympic champion Shane Miller. So looking at all of this now, she set those records and she will be missing in this competition that is set to happen in Jamaica. She didn't really give specific details of why she actually, stepped out of it, but still we would hope that she's well. It's just amazing, just like what happened with the Super Eagles and Ahmed Musa after winning the game against Ghana. He took and left the camp based on personal reasons, and then a couple of days later we found out that reports reached us that he got married to a fourth wife. So maybe Favour Ofili is also planning to get married to her husband. Probably that's one of the reasons why, or that's the reason why she didn't make it or decided to opt out for this Grand Prix, Racers Grand Prix that is set to kickstart this weekend, and it's just going to be Saturday and Sunday where lots of medals will be won. So moving away from that, let's still talk about cricket, where Nigeria faces Zimbabwe in Wibuka opener. This is a tournament set to kickstart later today. Nigerian senior female cricket team, which are popularly known as the Yellow and the Greens, will face Zimbabwe in their opening matchup of the 2025 Wibuka cricket tournament, which is scheduled for today in Rwanda. It is the first outing of the female Yellow and Greens this year. The Wibuka tournament, it's an annual invitation tournament organized by the Rwandan Cricket Association as part of the event to mark the remembrance of the Giants and also an ethnic group in Rwanda which happened in 1994. The Nigerian team arrived in Kigali on Sunday and had their first training section on Monday morning. And then their head coach, Leke Oyede, has this to say about his squad. He said his squad are in top shape for the sixth. They're in top shape and they're ready to take ahead of this tournament. Their sixth appearance at the tournament. This is their sixth appearance in the tournament. You saw in 2024 the Yellow and Greens appeared first in the All African Games, and then that was when they made their marks and defeated a whole lot of teams. Not winning the title majorly, but still coming and winning a bronze medal for the first time ever, going to witness or participate in that competition. It shows how crucial these individuals are. So we'll see how these matches today will be panning out as they are set to take on their rivals, the Zimbabweans, and these are no familiar foes. So we'll get you updates on the happenings in Rwanda and see how well our cricket Yellow and Green ladies are faring and doing in the competition ongoing in Rwanda. So we'll be bringing you updates from all of those activities. So moving on from cricket, let's hoop a little bit real quick, where Rivers Hoopers land in South Africa for BAL finals. These guys are ready and hungry. Yes, these are the images from the Conference League that was played a couple of months ago, and now they are very, very ready to represent Nigeria's representatives in the 5th season of the Basketball African League. Rivers Hoopers have arrived in Pretoria, South Africa, ahead of the finals, which tips off on Friday. The Kingsmen, who secured their place for the BAL finals by finishing second in the Kalahari Conference qualifiers earlier this year, are one of the 8 franchises set to battle it out at the Sunbet Arena in Pretoria for the right to be called champions of Africa. The coach Oga Dodua led side will slug it out with 7 other top teams, including Al Halil of Libya, Al Ittihad of Egypt, US Monastir of Tunisia, Pretoria de la Duna of Angola, and AP PR of Rwanda, Fuse Rabat of Morocco, and Kilio Stars of Cape Verde. Rivers Hoopers, who claimed the bronze medal at the 2024 edition after finishing third during the fourth BAL season held in Kigali, Rwanda, have been ranked as the first best team in Africa ahead of Friday's dunk-off. The Hoopers boast of some elite performances who shone during the Kalahari Conference. Mandate Ak was the shooting leader and also averaging a total of 17.8 points per game. Peter Olise was the rebounds leader, averaging a total of 11.0 per game. The assist leader tagged belonged to Kelvin Amayo, who averaged 6.6 assists per game. Raphael Putti put up an average of 1.7 blocks per game, while Kelvin Amayo was the steals leader as he averaged 2.0 steals per game. So looking at this now, Rivers Hoopers and the squad are looking very, very healthy, and I agree that these guys would actually make Nigeria really, really proud. So let's just see how this momentum continues. We have a few likes from this squad who play for the Tigers currently, and then we will see how well and how far these individuals will perform at South Africa. Last season they went and then they came out third. So let's see if that deficit will be changed and if they will be crowned champions of Africa or they will be at the second position. But they have everything that they need to be called champions. These individuals, these teams that they'll be facing are not familiar foes, and then they have, strategies on how they'll be able to win. So you've seen the consistency. From the first year they didn't do so well. Second year they didn't advance. They finished in the quarterfinal stages. They didn't advance to the finals. Now last year they got into the finals and then still didn't finish, and then they got kicked out in the semi-final. So this time around, let's see how far they will prepare. But still, there's still a whole lot of eyebrows that are being raised about basketball in Nigeria and the fact that Rivers Hoopers have been the only team visiting or representing Nigeria 5 times in a row. Questions are being asked by Nigerian fans, basketball enthusiasts about the league, the basketball league, which is usually being played in Nigeria. Aside city leagues that happens here in Abuja and all, we rarely see those local teams, Niger Tornadoes and co, come out and play in the Nigerian leagues, and then afterwards we'll just see a league that will be played for just probably 10 days, and then we will see individuals, Rivers Hoopers winning the competition and then going to BAL. So questions are being asked about what is really going on in Nigerian basketball, and then NBBF, the Nigerian Basketball Federation, we're waiting for lots of answers given the fact that the president now is Musa Kida. So we are just expecting him to answer those questions that Nigerians are actually asking. So let's move on from that and then talk about the Super Falcons as Nigeria face old foes, Cameroon, in a rescheduled friendly match that will be kick-starting later today. Is going to be one-legged match ahead of older international preparations. The Nigerian women's national team will face Cameroon in a one-off international friendly later today at the MKO Abiola Sporting Arena in Abeokuta, following the cancellation of the initial leg originally billed for Saturday at the Remo Stars Stadium in Ikenne. Logistics issues on the part of the Cameroonian team, who arrived in Ikenne late on Friday, forced the cancellation of the first leg due to disruptive match protocol and recovery schedule. The second leg had initially been moved forward to Monday, June the 2nd, following the cancellation of the first leg, but African football governing body CAF declined to approve the new date, prompting a return to the original schedule of Tuesday, June the 3rd, which is today. The friendly match will now serve as a single high-stake encounter, with both sides aiming to fine-tune preparation ahead of major international engagements. For the Super Falcons, today's feature will be their first outing since just concluded, and Team Delta emerged as champions. So we'll be looking at how all of this will pan out, and then we have some key names that will be absent for this matchup. So we'll see how well these individuals, the home-based players, and a few foreign European players that play in Europe, how they will be able to fit in and win this match, because the Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon are a very, very strong side. So still talking about the Super Falcons, Odegaard targets WAFO title on African on Falcons return. Talking about experienced Super Falcon forward Francisca Odegaard is fired up on her return to the senior women's national team as they begin their final preparation for the 2024 WAF, that's African Women Cup of All Nations, which will come up by July in Morocco. Francisca was handed a call-up later to the squad for the Tuesday's friendly match against Cameroon, reuniting with the team since 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. The 31-year-old has been in camp with the team in Ikenne Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State as they take on Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon at the MKO Abiola Sporting Arena in Abeokuta today. With almost a month to the WAFCON in Morocco, Francisca believes her experience will come in handy for the Super Falcons. Francisca has won 4 WAFO titles, that is the ones she won in 2010, 2014, 2016 and 2018 respectively, and remains confident that Falcons can reclaim their crown in Morocco. Looking at it now, the experience, it's there. And Francisca coming back into the mix, a very experienced attacker, having her mix with Rashidat and Oshoala on that front line is actually going to be a very big problem for every defensive line that they would come handy with. So this is very key and very crucial, and then we are happy. And the preparation today, the match that we have today, is something that would actually propel how the team would move on, because preparation are ongoing again already for the Women's African Nations Cup that will be kickstarting later in the month of July. So in less than 1 month, these ladies will be flying to go make Nigeria proud, and hopefully Oshoala and co and those that will be absent for this matchup today will be present to scale through the next phases of this competition. And later this month, still the lineup and the groups will be released, the group's schedules, and then we will know where the Super Falcons will fall in for this year's AFCON that will be played in Morocco. So we'll see how all of those pan out. And then still talking football and friendlies, 6 Eagles, that's talking about the Super Eagles, now withdraw from Russia's friendly. Several withdrawals and injuries to some players have contributed to alter the list of players who will appear for Nigeria in Friday's international friendly match against Russia in Moscow. The Nigeria Football Federation has said 6 players, including Olaina, Wilfred Ndidi, Samuel Chukwueze, Kelechi Hanacho, Sadiq Umar and Nathan Taylor, have all been excused from the squad as the team land in Moscow last night. The Super Eagles are in Russia for their 3rd game of the window after their triumph in Unity Cup in London over the weekend. According to NFF, Aina excused himself from the friendly, and coach Chile has had a draft in the Unity Cup draw for Sadiq Ismaila and Benjamin Fredrickson to complete the defense lineup with Captain Williams Trust Ekong in Moscow alongside Bright Osayi Samuel, joining the Unity Cup trio of Bruno Onyemaechi, Sami Ajayi and Igon Obun. In the midfield, an injury to Wilfred Ndidi has handed Enugu Rangers a saviour, Isaac, the opportunity to shine. Isaac is a key member of the Eagle B, which will participate in the African Nations Cup Championship finals in August. He will join Frank Onyeka, Rafa Onyedika, Fasayo, Dele Bashiru, Christus Uche and Papa Daniel Mustafa to fight for the shirt in the middle of the park. So that's why someone was asking me the the reason why the Super Eagles played without having a number, like without having their name at the back of their jerseys. And I said, nobody has that number yet, nobody has that jersey yet, because there is no name on it. So you have to play to earn your spot on the team, and then the time you have earned you must have played well and have earned your spot on the park, on the team. At that point, then you would be able to have your name on the jersey. So right now, everybody is fighting to get a place for him, for his or for himself on the team. So because what Eric is doing now, talking about the head coach of Super Eagles, is building team that he will be taking to the World Cup. So anybody that gets called up currently to come and play in the Super Eagles has a lot to prove. You need to prove if you need to be on that squad. You need to prove if you really need to be in the World Cup. So we will see how all of this pan out. And then for the couple of players that are injured and some that are resting, we hope that they get recovered really, really fast ahead of the preparations of international engagements that would be happening later in the month of July, and also in the month of June and July respectively. So still talking international friendlies, the ex-Bayelsa goalkeeper backs Cameroon to shock Super Falcons. The Cameroonian goalkeeper Ange Bawo has expressed confidence in Cameroon's ability to upset Nigeria in Tuesday's international friendly in Abeokuta, saying her side is building strongly for the future and ready to spring up a surprise. Despite falling short against the Super Falcons in the Olympic qualifying games earlier this year, Ange believes the indomitable Lions of Cameroon have made progress and are approaching this match with renewed focus and renewed determination. The 25-year-old, who previously played for Nigerian champions Bayelsa Queens, acknowledged that missing out on recent major tournament has placed more responsibility on the team to grow. So later we would know how the matchup will be and how well it will turn out, because these individuals are coming with a different mindset, and then they are so hungry that they have a point to prove. The Super Falcons have the numbers of the Cameroonians. That's talking about the Lionesses of, the Militable Lionesses of Cameroon. The Super Falcons have their numbers. They've defeated them, over a couple of times, and then at this point now they are coming refocused and then looking at how to make themselves proud and then make a name for themselves ahead of the competition that will be coming up later next month. That's talking about the African Women's Championship. So we'll be looking at how all of this will happen, and then winning this game is actually going to be a morale booster for the Super Eagles. Also, it's also going to be a morale booster for the Cameroonians. So we'll see how well they'll be able to, this matchup will be, because it's going to be intense. It's going to be a qualifying match. It's going to look like a qualifying match before a qualifying match, if you understand what I mean. So that's just what we're expecting to see a beautiful night of football with lots of emotions and the thrills that come with football. So we'll be going on a quick break, and when we return back, we'll have a couple of conversations around transfer windows, and also we'll bring you highlights of the games that were played early hours of Tuesday morning. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Yes, so many thanks for staying with us. Let's have quick conversations around transfers as following Whiskies makes demand to Liverpool over shirt number. So looking at this now, he has made conversations and then, transfer talks are ongoing and it's just a whole lot happening currently for him, and he's looking to take the number 10 jersey that he wore in Bayern Munich. So it's just looking how all of this will pan out for Liverpool and following. So we'll have that conversation a little bit later, but still talking about transfers now. Nigerian legend has actually made comments for around Victor Osimhen's transfer. That's talking about JJ Okocha now, and then he advised Osimhen on summer move. The Nigerian football legend JJ Okocha has offered guidance to Victor Osimhen as speculation intensifies over the forward's next move following a record-breaking loan spell at Galatasaray. Speaking to Turkish broadcaster later, the former Fenerbahce playmaker urges Osimhen to consider the emotional and professional satisfaction he has found in Turkey, suggesting that staying at Galatasaray could be a wise decision, even if it means making personal sacrifices. Osimhen, who recently concluded his loan spell from Napoli, scored his 37th goal of the season in Galatasaray's 2-0 win over Istanbul on Saturday, ending a sensational campaign that saw the Turkish giants claim a league and a cup double. Galatasaray's head coach Okan acknowledged that the player's future remains uncertain, but praises his contribution and expressed hope that he would remain with the club. Looking at it now, is actually going to be very close, because everything Victor Osimhen is looking for, he can get with Galatasaray. Champions League matchup is there, but does the team have the quality that would help him win the Champions League next season? Looking at the way the Champions League is structured now, anybody can win it as it stands. But does Galatasaray have what it takes to get into the quarterfinals, into the semi-finals, and then into the finals? I think that's going to be very hard, but let's see what happens. But we're talking transfers now before we get into 2025-2026 season, and also talk about teams and how well they are doing in Champions League. Victor Osimhen fits in perfectly for the Galatasaray squad, and then we saw how crucial and how amazing, how integral he was for the team. Scoring 37 goals in a season that's coming from from Napoli on loan in the month of November 2024. He has been there, and then he was very, very essential. So looking at it now, a whole lot of teams, both Saudi Pro League, the EPL, La Liga, and also the French League, are seeking for his signature. But still, there's something that they are still yet to do. That's talking about the release clause. So £70 million, that's what Napoli are requesting for, but other teams are looking to cut down. But is he worth more than that? Yes, currently Victor Osimhen is supposed to worth more than £70 million based on his current statistics and based on his current statistics and the numbers he's putting on week in and week out. So of course he's worth every penny that he's been, that has been placed on him by Napoli. So moving on and still talking transfer, we will sell Aroko Dari for big money, Genk president Karnan says. The Genk president Karnan says and has warned suitors that they won't sell Tolu Aroko Dari for a cheap transfer fee. Aroko Dari has been linked with a move away from Belgian Pro League outfit following a remarkable campaign for the Spurs. The Nigerian international scored 21 goals to emerge the top scorer in the league. The 24-year-old won the Ebony Shoe for the best African player in the Belgian league and was also voted the overall third best player in the league for the 2024-2025 season. Aroko Dari has attracted interest interest of Belgian league champions Bayern Munich and Portuguese club Benfica. Genk sold his compatriot Paul Ochoa to Southampton for £18 million in January 2023. Cunningham, however, said that they won't accept same fee for Aroko Dari. So looking at it now, the man has seen the qualities. Either you pay for him or he's going to remain. And these guys are actually very, very key and very, very integral for their team. We saw Paul Ochoa, though he moved to Southampton, and then we didn't see the same level of performance that we saw when he was in Genk. You know, the EPL is very tough and it's a different ball game altogether. But Aroko Dari, who is very 24 and younger than Paul Ochoa, then we will see if these teams will be able to pay. But still, the president hasn't released a clause of how much, you know, they are willing to let Aroko Dari go for. So until they release, make an offer or drops a release clause, then we would know if they are actually sending him off for free or not for free, lesser than what they sold Paul Ochoa for, which was £18 million. So we'll see what will happen when the release clause has been made. So looking at those now and moving away from that and still talking transfers, it's former Manchester United defender Gary Neville has this to say. He says it is better for you, for your good, leave Manchester United. Gary Neville tells 4 players currently playing in Manchester United. Gary Neville, a former Manchester United defender, has advised 4 Red Devil players, Alan Garnacho, Antonio, Marcus Rashford, and Jordan Sancho, to leave the club for their own good. Neville wants the players to find another club in this summer transfer window to save their football career. Speaking on the latest episode of It's Called Soccer, Neville said Marcus Rashford has to leave for him and the club. I think that ship has sailed and he needs to find himself another club. Garnacho completed the season at Manchester United despite his publicly falling out with manager Ruben Amorim last year, while Antonio, Sancho and Rashford spent the second part of the season on loan at Real Betis, Chelsea and Aston Villa respectively. So I think it's not working out for them anymore. I agree with Gary Neville. If they find a good suitor, I think Aston Villa and Marcus Rashford are actually finding their fitting together, and he seems to be happy there. But for Sancho is on and off, and he was very, very, integral for the team ahead of the match that was played between Chelsea and Nottingham Forest, the last game that was played this season. So we will see what will happen if Chelsea would want to buy him fully or would want to let him go at the end of this summer. We'll see how all of that pans out. And then talking about transfer sales, Bruno Fernandes takes final decision on leaving Manchester United, aimed at 100 million euros Saudi offer. And the Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes has decided to snub a stunning move to Saudi Arabia this summer. Fernandes has been the subject of a huge 100 million offer from Al Hilal, and the Portuguese midfielder was given an ultimatum to decide on accepting the deal, and now appears to have been keen on continuing his career in Europe and not moving to the Saudi Pro League. So looking at this now, he's staying loyal to Manchester United and looking on how he would be able to, participate and help the team win more competition. So looking at this now, and that note, we'll be closing the curtain on football and transfer talks. Let's have quick conversation around NBA, as the NBA Finals is upon us, and we'll be witnessing 2 young squad, talking about Indiana Pacers and OKC Thunders, as they'll be going head to head. Is this going to be a sweep? Because these 2 teams are very, very good defensive-wise and offensive-wise. Indiana Pacers have experience. Siakam has won the ring. He has one ring, one championship with Toronto Raptors. and then he has an experience coming in and then joining this young Indiana Pacers squad. And looking at how it panned out, it was a very close one, though they had to force a game 6. That's okay. New York Knicks had to force a game 6 between Indiana Pacers and themselves, but still, Indiana Pacers came out victorious, just like what happened between OKC Thunder and Minnesota Timberwolves. So, individually, these two teams are very, very hungry. Most of them on the squad, aside Siakam, who plays for Indiana Pacers, most of them haven't won this championship. So this is the first time they're actually going into an NBA final, and it's going to be very, very fast. It's going to be very, very emotional, and you have to